Hare Krishna.
Good morning from Matchless Gifts.
Good
Live
morning.
108.
What? 108?
Live 108. It's like a radio station, isn't it? Coming to you live from Matchless Gifts.
22nd Avenue, New York, New York. Home of Srila Prabhupada, Haribol, where it all began. Okay, so we're reading from the Bhagavatam. And reading from the...
Canto 4, Chapter 15, Text 7.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
The great sage Maitreya continued, My dear Viduraji, at that time all the Brahmanas highly praised and glorified King Prithu, and the best singers of Gandharva Loka chanted his glories. The inhabitants of Siddha Loka showered flowers, and the beautiful women in the heavenly planets danced in ecstasy.
Krishna.
Text 8. Conch shells, bugles, drums, and kettle drums vibrated in outer space. Great sages, forefathers, and personalities from the heavenly planets all came to Earth from various planetary systems.
Sounds like an intergalactic party.
Text 9 and 10. Lord Brahma, the master of the entire universe, arrived there accompanied by all the demigods and their chiefs. Seeing the lines of Lord Vishnu's palm on King Prithu's right hand and impressions of lotus flowers on the soles of his feet, Lord Brahma could understand that King Prithu was a partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one whose palm bears the sign of a disc, as well as other such lines, should be considered a partial representation or incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So let's all check our palms now.
Oh, my, I got a disc here.
Oh, really? Purple. Let us know in the comments if you found a disc on your hand, and then if you're a partial representative of the Lord. If you don't want, if you want to let us know. Purple. There is a system by which one can detect an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nowadays, it has become a cheap fashion to accept any rascal as an incarnation of God. But from this incident, we can see that Lord Brahma personally examined the hands and feet of King Prithu for specific signs. In their prophecies, the learned sages and brahmanas accepted Prithu Maharaj as a plenary partial expansion of the Lord. During the presence of Lord Krishna, however, a king declared himself Vasudev, and Lord Krishna killed him. Before accepting someone as an incarnation of God, one should verify his identity according to the symptoms mentioned in the Sastras. Without these symptoms, the pretender is subject to be killed by the authorities for pretending to be an incarnation of God. Jeepers. That's quite intense. I mean, there's only... I guess I shouldn't name anyone, that might be controversial.
Yeah, let's not get political.
Oh yeah.
It's not a political channel.
Anyway, when I was growing up, there was a very well-known... He's not around anymore, but well-known. Yeah, he's not around anymore, this God. But proclaimed...
Incarnation of God, yeah.
Huh?
Incarnation.
No, well, he said he was God.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And, yes, it's crazy, because as Prabhupada often says in his books, lectures, people get taken in whether they're because they're innocent or because they're just ignorant, So, in my families, in my relatives' homes like that, this personality's picture would be there along with everyone else, all the other demigods, and with Krishna, Ram, Vishnu, everyone. But he would also be there, and you're like, well, okay, it's one thing that the whole wall is covered with pictures of demigods with Krishna, Vishnu, and that. But it's another thing that you got it's human there. I'm sorry, but it's like, but it's crazy. Yeah, it's like, I mean, one of the qualities of Krishna is all attractive.
Mm-hmm.
So even if, he looks attractive. Like, he don't look like Quasimodo. So at least have that quality,
Okay, let's hope we've, traversed the path without transgressing etiquettes there. And
I'm just following, footsteps of the previous acharyas. We got to call them out.
So Prabhupada is speaking about Pondraka here, who, as far as I remember, he pasted extra arms, 2 arms on himself. Not pasted, I don't know, he attached them somehow so that he looked like he had 4 arms, and then Krishna whooped him.
That's funny.
Okay, text 11. The learned brahmanas who were very attached to the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies then arranged for the king's coronation. People from all directions collected all the different paraphernalia for the ceremony, thus everything was complete. Text 12. All the rivers, seas, hills, mountains, serpents, cows, birds, animals, heavenly planets, the earthly planet, and all other living entities collected various presentations according to their ability to offer the king. 13. Thus, the great King Prithu, exquisitely dressed with garments and ornaments, was coronated and placed on the throne. The king and his wife, Archie, who was also exquisitely ornamented, appeared exactly like fire. The great sage continued, My dear Vidura, Kuvera presented the great King Prithu with a golden throne. The demigod Varun presented him with an umbrella that constantly sprayed fine particles of water and was as brilliant as the moon. Interesting umbrella. Now, of course, most of us might be like, why would you want an umbrella that sprays mist? Generally, you use an umbrella to keep the rain off of you. But of course, this umbrella was there to keep the sun off of him and then spray this fine mist. 15. The demigod of air, Vayu, presented King Prithu with 2 whisks, chamaras, of hair. The king of religion, Dharma, presented him with a flower garland which would expand his fame. The king of heaven, Indra, presented him with a valuable helmet. And the superintendent of death, Yamaraj, presented him with a scepter with which to rule the world. Text 16. Lord Brahma presented King Prithu with a protective garment made of spiritual knowledge. Now that's awesome. Bharati Saraswati, the wife of Brahma, gave him a transcendental necklace. Lord Vishnu presented him with a Sudarshan disc, and Lord Vishnu's wife, the goddess of fortune, gave him imperishable opulences, plural. Purport. All the demigods presented various gifts to King Prithu. Hari, an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Upendra in the heavenly planet, presented the king with a Sudarshan disc. It should be understood that this Sudarshan disc is not exactly the same type of Sudarshan disc used by the personality of Godhead, Krishna or Vishnu. Since Maharaj Prithu was a partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's power, the Sudarshan disc given to him represented the partial power of the original Sudarshan disc. Okay, interesting. So that makes things a little more clear, and it's a good example of why having a purport is necessary and required, because this is the way that the acharyas help us to put things into proper context. Otherwise, we might have read that and thought, oh yeah, of course, the Lord himself showed up and presented a disc. Where does it say that? It doesn't actually say that here. Lord
What?
Lord
Yeah.
Vishnu presented him.
Yeah.
So it says Lord Vishnu presented him with a Sudarshan disc. So you would just think exactly as it reads. But the Acharyas explain that this disc was a partial expansion of the original Sudarshan disc, and that the Vishnu form that gave him to him was Upendra, who, if I'm not mistaken, I thought that Upendra was the expansion of the Lord that resided where Bali Maharaj lives.
It says he lives in the heavenly planet.
I know. Anyway, I think we should check that out. If anyone has any comments, you can put it in there. Well, Prabhupada says it. I know, but that the thing is, Bali Maharaj resides in the what is that area called? It's the subterranean heavenly planets. Jeepers, mate. Yeah. So like that. Because he was a demon, so there are heavenly planets in the upper stratospheres, and then in the lower stratospheres, which is normally the hellish planets. It's described that the heavenly planets, the subterranean heavenly planets, are more opulent even than the heavenly planets above. But we'll come to that in the Bhagavatam, so just stick around.
All right. Text 17. Lord Shiva presented him with a sword within a sheath marked with 10 moons, and his wife, the goddess Durga, presented him with a shield marked with 100 moons. The moon demigod presented him with horses made of nectar. And the demigod Vishwakarma presented him with a very beautiful chariot. Text 18. The demigod of fire, Agni, presented him with a bow made of the horns of goats and cows. The sun god presented him with arrows as brilliant as sunshine. The predominating deity of Burloka presented him with slippers full of mystic power.
Wow, I didn't remember that. Okay.
The demigods from outer space brought him presentations of flowers again and again. Well, they didn't make much of an effort, did they?
Well, you don't know what kind of flowers they brought, mate.
Could you read all that list of what everyone else bought? And then the demigods, there's some flowers. There's a bunch of flowers from Mazda. What? Purport. This verse describes that the king's slippers were invested with mystic powers, Paduke Yoga Mayu. Thus, as soon as the king placed his feet in the slippers, they would immediately carry him wherever he desired. Jeepers. Mystic yogis can transfer themselves from one place to another whenever they desire. A similar power was invested in the slippers of King Prithu. Who gave him the slippers?
The predominating deity of Burloka.
That's a very nice gift, isn't it? Alright, well that's lovely. It's nice to read all the different presentations, especially as this is a partial representative of the Lord. Not that I'm saying he's any less of a...
Well, but he is in one sense.
But he is. No, he is. What I mean is not like... I'm not a partial representative. My point is he's up there, you know. But, so very nice gifts. Even the demigods, let's just say that.
Yeah, I was just thinking he's got, Harry Potter's got nothing on King Prithu, though I don't think I've seen a flickering of one of the films when we were on a plane once. But I've never watched them. But, it's all about having these magic wands. So he's got, like, magic slippers. But I know some people have magic cloaks and magic hats and magic this and that.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he was given a cloak with knowledge, wasn't he? Spiritual knowledge.
Yeah, cloaked with knowledge. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we'll stop there.
All right, we'll put on our magic slippers.
And we're going to, go wherever we want in the universe.
We're going to go home.
But look where we are. We're in the most
Yes.
mystical and magical place in the whole universe.
Yes.
26nd Avenue, where it all began.
One senior devotee said this is the hub of the spiritual world.
Yeah.
This, like Matchless Gifts, is the hub of the spiritual world.
Hari Hari.
So that's quite amazing that we're sitting here, you know.
It is
Very, very. So
Blessed.
we're happy to be back.
fortunate. Okay, thank you all very much. Please read the Srimad Bhagavatam in your own time. Please don't forget to comment,
Subscribe,
like.
share.
Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna.